see if that makes a difference. All right, there we go.
I'm super quick, gonna run to my printer.
Okay, make
Get
it
stuff
super
off my
quick.
printer.
You got a minute and a half.
Hey, super quick.
Super quick. We're still missing music, folks. For those of you that are here for the pre-show, not sure why. We keep on forgetting to add music. One of these days, we will add music, I promise. I'm just doing all the pre-show prep and making sure everything is streaming out, which looks like Facebook is streaming, YouTube is streaming. Life is good. If you have, if you're on the stream and you want to check things out, if you want to check things out, feel
What's
free
up?
to leave a comment below. I'm just doing a
Oh,
little pre-show chitter chatter.
oh, alrighty. Chitter
Yes, I
chatter.
can.
Yes, you can.
We're still missing audio. One of these days, we'll actually have a little boom, 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 boom.
Oh, I know, our little dance, little soundtrack.
A little soundtrack of some sort. So, but yeah, everything looks pretty solid on both.
Looks like it working now. Good.
Yeah. Apparently, you got to hit the right button. If you don't hit save and close, then it
Oh,
doesn't actually save
right.
everything.
Gotta be good at pushing buttons.
Good at pushing buttons, I tell you. I tell you. All righty. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, don't forget our intro. Yeah.
Dun, 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 gosh, there we go. You want to?
Hey.
Hey, it's the live show with Sue and Ryan. Here we go.
Ryan.
All right, and here we are. We're back after that fabulous little introduction that Sue was nice enough to put together. We just need to get that music going in the background. Ding, ding, ding.
I know.
Ding, ding, ding.
Definitely got to have some. A little. Maybe we need to get like a DJ on this show to be like our live DJ. I like that idea.
There we go. We'll get a third feed.
Yes.
Go. We just need to hire you by the minute. Say 5-minute minimum. How's that work for you?
Well, in between, we might want to have a little dance party in between. I'm down for that.
Okay, sounds good. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about, and that is the fact that holidays are coming up. It's already today's the 13th of October already.
It's just silliness.
The situation of 2020 is just kind of fast forwarding time for some people. And so I don't know about you, but I've already started trying to make plans for the different holidays that are coming up, and starting to think about businesses and OMG. I mean, go back to March when all this started and thinking of nonprofits, right? The whole OMG factor of what are these poor nonprofits going to do without the banquets, without the live events, without food and wine and beer and all the other things. And now you fast forward into the holiday season. A lot of it's the same thing, right? Typically you get a banquet room, you go to a restaurant, there's alcohol involved, there's food involved, there's all kinds of good times to be had.
Good times, and going through the memories of the past year and things like that.
Yeah. So end of year is typically a time of celebration. So the question becomes, how does one celebrate these days with everything that's going on?
That's right. I know. So we've been, you and I have been talking a lot about doing virtual holiday events. So we've kind of put together a little bit of a guide as to step by step, how do you put together a virtual holiday event that isn't boring, that isn't like, I don't want to show up because it's the same silly people on the same meeting platform that we've been doing meetings for how many months and we're over it. It's time to get a little excited about the holidays and reconnecting with people. I think there's still a way to do that virtually. And like I said, we kind of put together a little bit of a step-by-step for doing that, making it really, really easy for you to plan a virtual holiday party, continue to, honor your people and have some fun.
Yeah, because probably a
So
lot of people that don't know you don't know that you like hosting events,
I like
ideally
hosting
in person.
events. I like drinking wine at events. I'm the social person. I probably know 50% of the people in the building if I go to an event. So I want to meet everybody. So
Right.
I'm really,
But
really
as
missing
far
these
as
events.
planning, right?
Yes.
Because knowing everybody and planning things is two different things.
Yes,
You've
absolutely.
had a lot of experience in the past planning things. So because there's a lot of things that if you don't think about, and even those people that are watching, if you've planned an event before, you've got to, okay, what weekend works best for everybody? Is the event that you want to go to or the restaurant, where whatever it might be, is it available? Then you got to get a hold of the boss. Who's all going to speak? Is there some sort of organization, or is it just going to be random chaos? Are there going to be
Right.
prizes? Are there going to
Are there
be
going to be
awards?
activities? Yes,
Yeah, so kind
exactly.
of figuring all that out. If you've
Yeah.
been doing that for your office, it takes, if you're doing it for the first time, it can be a little overwhelming just because of all the pieces involved, right?
Definitely.
So
Absolutely. So,
um,
step
this is
number
really about
one,
you.
about what?
This is about you as far as planning stuff, because it was kind of, okay, how do we transition from the physical in-person meeting to,
Right,
okay,
to doing something virtually and
right,
taking some of the, obviously like any other virtual event, there's going to be similar elements that are they were the same live, they're going to be the same virtual, and then there's other elements that you're going to have to do something different. And so the first thing that we would recommend basically is deciding on what's the goal of your event for this holiday event. Is it to have fun? Is it that fun piece and getting everybody together and all of that? Is it the goal of the event to maybe do a recap of what's happening, what happened this year with the company? What are the plans for the future? Is it a little more serious? Is there going to be a keynote speaker? Is it going to be
ooh,
something like that?
mm-hmm,
There's all these different elements, and kind of what is the goal? Like, what do you want people to say at the end of that event? Wow, I had so much fun, or wow, I really learned a lot. Like, what
mm-hmm,
is really the goal of that event? So that's kind of your number one. Who's going to be involved? I mean, is it going to be family friendly?
mm, that's a
Are there
good
going to
one.
be people having alcohol? Are you going to be providing a delivery of alcohol? Or is it just, no,
Or
that's not
food,
really our thing? Or food, even food, that's another
right?
option. Um,
And
so
I
then,
think
then it's kind of
I was also
good.
going to say, I think one of the unique things about this is the fact that also, if you're a larger organization that has multiple locations, this is a
Yeah,
great opportunity now to bring everybody in without them having to drive, as an example. So I think that's the other thing you want to think about when you're having this event is that, oh, yeah, we can actually include everybody or more people if you want.
right. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. And we have those opportunities now that we didn't really have before. A lot of people
Hmm.
even, selling to people across the country when they thought they could only sell in their own neighborhood,
Right,
basically.
right.
Um, So kind of then, like we talked a little bit about that, was kind of determining what are the elements that you really want to include. What's the most important thing? If the goal is to have fun, hey, we're going to have a DJ, we're going to do karaoke, we're going to play games, or is the CEO going to be making a statement? Are you going to be giving awards to any of the stellar employees for the year of their accomplishments? What are the elements that are going to make this event hit your goals, basically? So we have a whole checklist thing we put together with a bunch of ideas,
Can you kind
tons
of
of
show
them.
them a little bit? I know.
This is well, yeah. I got a whole guide for you guys. So yeah, I mean, this is what it was like 12 pages or something like that. So this is how you're going to get your event going. It's
Right.
just step one, step two. Here are all the ideas. Here are all the options. Here's what you can do. Maybe at your live event you did a ugly sweater contest for the holidays. A lot of
Right.
people like to do that. It's a lot of fun. It causes a lot of buzz. People are laughing.
Yep.
You can do that virtually. You still can.
Right.
So those kind of contests and things like that, those are fun.
And you could include, if you wanted to, pets now. and
Yes,
children.
absolutely.
Maybe not the ugly child sweater contest, but
Oh, come on now. Be nice.
the beautiful reindeer outfit or something. Anyhow, I'm just saying there you this is an
It's
opportunity
gonna
to
be
kind of think outside of the
exactly.
box and go,
Who's
oh, what are other ways? And if you're really up to it, how can you incorporate some of this fun into your social media later? That's probably another
who's
step
got
that I jumped ahead to though.
I know. Who's got the best Santa iguana? That's what we want to know this year.
There you go.
That's going to be on the call.
There you go.
That's something you're going to want to tweet out later.
Yep. Whoever
For
does
sure.
gets a baker's dozen of donuts or something.
Something. Yeah, you got to win. You got to win something. I don't know. Maybe it's the best parking place at the office for
Right.
a year or something like that. I don't
Which
know.
is
All
perfect
kinds of
in
good
these
things.
virtual situations we are in.
Exactly. Now, one tip for all of these ideas that we have, all of these different things that we can do. You got this, you got that. You can do a DJ, you can do a contest. You can try not to do it all. You don't want these events to go on and on and on. You know, they are virtual. Doing about an hour is about
Right.
the
Okay.
extent of everybody's, yeah, keep it on time. And so really decide based on what your goals are and what your kind of what your company culture is too. What are the things that are most appropriate for your company? And then just picking a couple of those things that are most important that are going to hit your goals and not trying to do everything. You just can't do it.
Right. And
Um,
if the president or the CEO has some specific, you were kind of talking like what's the culture of the company? If, you know, typically
right,
that's led by the president or the CEO. So kind of
right,
checking in with them. Maybe they're big in the golf. And so you include a golf at home golf tournament, if you will,
right.
as part of the
Exactly.
game that you do.
Exactly. Yeah. Knowing the employees and the players. If you have a smaller company, you know, a lot of times it's easier to know all these different things about people, and you can say, "Oh my gosh, so and so is totally crazy about elephants. We're going to do a something white elephant, whatever." And there
Right.
are a lot of things that you can do that even though you're not in person, you can make arrangements ahead of time to have those things delivered, a goodie box delivered with everything you need, or you know that, like you said, the food, some
Right. Yeah.
alcohol, those kind of things. You can arrange for all of those things to be delivered. Some costumes, even if you wanted to send everybody a Santa hat to wear.
Yeah, you know, and I was just thinking because we talked about this a couple weeks ago, is the fact that all the online, I got a catalog in the mail for like cookies, or no, you got some from a friend
I
that
got
you know.
cookies.
You got
Yeah.
cookies, yeah, in the tin. And
Yes.
so the other thing I would recommend is I imagine that is going to be tremendous business this year. So planning ahead,
Yes.
because those facilities, I'm guessing, are going to be really overwhelmed. And if you wait till the last minute, they may not be able to deliver in time.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, you know, you may also be in your car delivering. You never know. You could be out there delivering what needs to be delivered. Just got to
Right.
make it happen.
Yep.
So you know, determining that duration of the event, we talked a little bit about that. Also, you know, the day and the time. What's going to be best for everyone? If you do have multiple locations, maybe in different time zones, what's going to be the best time for everyone to be on that call and enjoy the party? So thinking about that, and then we said, you know, about an hour is probably good, depending on what you're doing,
Maybe
and
stretch
depending
it to
on
an hour and a half if you want.
could be an hour and a half depending on what you're doing. Maybe if you get going with the games and things like that, people really get into it. You could go a little longer, but being aware of what that duration is, what time of day, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And from our experience, typically if you start at an hour, by the time all the ideas roll in, it's going to roll out to be an hour and a half.
Yes,
So I recommend thinking smaller in this case, time wise,
yes.
because it will naturally expand anyway.
When you've got participants and people, if
Yeah.
you're engaging in some way, yeah, that can often run over a little bit, but
Yeah.
probably a good thing if everybody's engaging and having a good time, then mission
Yeah.
accomplished. So
Yep.
they'll want to stay on a little longer. So you know, next step 4 is that plan
Mm,
for every single event that Ryan and I work on. We do a run of the show, so we know exactly what comes first, what comes next, then what's happening. So that's a plan number one, and knowing what's first, what's next, and then all of the key people. Like it's you got to know who the key people are, identifying all those key people, working with your production company.
all right.
Right? If you're going to work with a production company or even an event planner, That's all about planning. And
Mm-hmm.
a caterer, if you're going to be delivering food or even getting the beverages, that's a whole other plan.
Right.
The other
And
thing that go ahead.
oh, I was going to say, even if you're going to use Zoom as an example, simply
Hmm.
because everybody's familiar with it, granted, and I shouldn't say Zoom,
Yes.
but what are we calling it now? I forgot the
A
word.
meeting
A
platform.
meeting platform. So any of the meeting platforms that are out there, the virtual, they work for this, but think about your experience being on those. And it's like, okay, well, if Bob is going to talk first, you need to have a way of communicating and making sure that Bob is ready. And somebody needs to check and make sure that the camera at the office, if they're going to be connected somewhere else, say at the home now versus the office potentially, or vice
Right.
versa, that they're going to be able to do that. And so that's where part of the whole planning comes in, is also making sure everybody's technology works where it's at. And then if
Yes.
you've got 5 kids and each one of them is on YouTube or doing social media during the,
Right,
realize
exactly.
your bandwidth is going to be limited and that could create issues. So this is part of that whole planning. And that's where working with an event service company or
Hmm.
a virtual platform is going to be helpful, because they all have experience with this and they're going to be able to help guide you specifically of not falling in the pitfalls when it comes to the planning section.
Exactly. Kind of knowing what to expect and the things that
Yeah.
may become a problem. And one of the other things that we're providing with this is, which I think is one of the key other things for any event planning, whether it's in person or it's virtual, is kind of your deadlines. So
Mm.
what are the deadlines where if you work backwards and you know that the date of your event is on the 24th, what are you doing 2 days before that? What are you
Right.
doing 1 week before that? And really planning that out, and knowing that here we are in October, it's going to take longer than you think because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of moving parts anytime you're putting together an event. So we have a sample that says, hey, day one, you do this. Day five, you do this. So, I mean, making sure that you have all of those things written down, you've got all the key players in place, and everybody has been communicated with. That's
Mm-hmm.
another big one. That's another really big one. Making sure everybody's still available when they know the event is the following week. Still
Yep.
available.
Yep.
Very good. Inviting your guests. So you got to invite your guests. Once you know the date, the time, all of the elements that you're going to be incorporating, the key people. If you got everybody on board. It's on their calendar, and it is time to invite your guests. So this year, let's do something a little different. Let's not send out an email invitation. You can, because you're going to eventually have to send them a link. But initially, how great would it be to get a really cool invitation in the mail? Something creative,
Mm-hmm.
something outside of the box. And maybe it comes with one of those little goodies, that
Mm.
Santa hat or something like that, that says,
Or a
we're going to
brownie.
have fun. Or a brownie. You could send a
I'm
brownie
okay with
too.
brownies.
I'm okay with brownies. You can send those too. Anytime, yeah, send food.
Right.
Food and booze are good to go.
Is there such service out there that makes it easy though?
Yes, absolutely. Are you giving me a lob ball or what?
I am. I mean, let's throw it out
Okay.
there, because I mean, I think it's a great service
It
and a lot
absolutely
of
is.
people aren't aware of it. And it's a great, I mean, I've got, oh, I received, and this is not through them, but I received the other day, because I volunteer with NLP Marin. And so what
Nice.
they did is they created this, but each one of the teachers did their own
Awesome.
little thank you, and then
I
they
love that.
sent it to whoever put this all together. And they printed it up however they did. But
Right.
this was great. And again, it came in the mail, so
Yes.
it's not the same cliche email. Hey, you've been invited.
Yeah,
Makes a big difference.
exactly. It-
This was handcrafted. There are ways to make it appear
exactly.
handcrafted, though, but easy.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, that's any design or anything like that. But so the service we've actually been talking about is called Send Out Cards. And so send out cards is one of the most amazing things ever. You go online, you can create cards, they can be custom, they have all kinds of templates, all kinds of fun stuff. Put your message in there, and then you put in who it's going to go to, and it's going to be sent in the mail. It's an actual printed card that gets sent in the mail because we don't get those things often enough. And it really is, I mean, think about the feeling you get when you get a card like that, especially something that's customized or it has some meaning to it.
Right.
It's like, wow, you just changed somebody's life that day. You made their day better. Yeah. The coolest thing about send out cards, like you said, the brownies, you can attach gifts. They have an entire store of gifts that you can send that are reasonably priced. There's lots of food items. There's fun kid items and just like little keepsakes and jewelry and stuff like that. Good. And the brownies are delicious.
The brownies are good.
You've had the brownies.
I concur. So you'll put a link down below.
I will.
It's not in there right now, but Sue will put a link in down below. Let you know if you're interested. Feel free to check it out and see if it's right for you or not.
Yeah, exactly. And if anybody needs any more information or needs me to show them exactly how to do it, I'm happy to get on a call and do that at any time. So yeah, it's an amazing service, and it's made a big difference in my business too. So yeah. So that's a great way to invite people through the mail. Do something different. We are, we have to go virtual this year, but you don't have to send an evite. You can send something really cool in the mail that really means something to people, and you're probably going to get a better response as well. So definitely inviting those guests. And then following through with that deadline schedule, basically that you put through, you have to do that in the planning. And then make sure you keep that with you at all times, and you put notices on your calendar that say, I need to do this today. It's on my deadline sheet, because they will start backing up and you will forget. And the next thing you know, you're going to say, oh my God, I didn't confirm the caterer. Oh no, they got busy. They didn't know that I confirmed. And now you're scrambling. Right. And so you don't want to do that. So that's super important to follow that deadline schedule. Really easy. The easiest part, are you ready for this? Showing up and enjoying the party.
All right, I got it right.
So you throw, you're going to throw an amazing party.
Planning parties is not my thing. I know how to show up. I'm like, here you go, 6-pack of Mountain Dew. You all have fun.
You're such a party animal.
Had for everyone. You better believe
That's right. That's right. And if you're in charge of putting the meeting together, it can be a little bit stressful. So highly recommend finding some key people that you can count on. Maybe it's an assistant or another person who wants to help you with that planning. And you can assign some tasks to that person, because one person to put on a big party or a big event can be very, very stressful and very difficult. And the day of the party, especially if you have, if you're working with an event planner, that's going to take some of the burden off of you. And especially if you're working with a production company who's helping you with the show, getting the elements all together, moving through that seamlessly and getting it all streamed out, that's one less thing for you to have to worry about.
Right. So, and you have extra layers of protection, right? Just like working with an event planner.
Exactly.
You have not only the event planner who's making sure, but you're making sure also.
Exactly. And we ultimately want you to have the most successful party ever. We want your guests to be thrilled with the party. We want you to be thrilled and enjoy it, because it takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
So we're going virtual this year, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I think there's going to be some really cool creativity that comes out of it. That's been the one really cool thing about this whole situation we're in, is the creativity. So why not embrace it?
I think some people are going to be pleasantly surprised. They're going to be all, okay, we're going to get on a computer. Hey, everybody. And they're going to be all, damn, I didn't know you could do all this, because there's a lot of things. We've been spending a lot of time doing research and just talking to people about what they would like to do and include. And it's amazing what you can do with a little bit of creativity online.
Exactly. So yeah, we're happy to talk to anybody, give you some ideas, provide this list for you, the step-by-steps. That's super easy, just to make it like, here you go, here's everything. And you're going to have an amazing event.
Perfect. So is that all you have to do then? You just got to plan, test, and then show up. And is anything else you should do after the party?
Oh, after the party, yes, absolutely. So anytime you're doing an event, I highly recommend doing kind of a what do they call a post-mortem. Get together with your, I know it sounds kind of terrible, but get together with your key people. Who are the key people that were helping you? Your helpers, your boss, especially, whoever the main person is, your event planner, your production company, all of those things, and kind of rehash, okay, what went really well? What were we surprised? Because there may be things that you go, oh my gosh, that went way better than we thought it would. That was so cool. And then other things, well, you know what? We could have done this a little bit better, or maybe it would have been better had we done this differently. And making those notes so that you know for next time. Every time you do an event, I don't care if you're a seasoned event planner, you're going to learn something new. Right. Every single time you're going to hit a situation that you go, okay, then haven't done that one before. Let's write that down so that we know what to do for next time.
Yeah, so, I would even include surveying your I got customers stuck in my head, your employees,
your staff,
staff. Yeah. The employees, the people that are going to be there, their family, if it makes sense, if they're going to be invited, and find out what did they enjoy. And
exactly,
I think the two key words, what would you like to see more of? And then what would you like to have seen differently? And that will kind of help let you know, because, I think in talking to some companies that we've talked to about doing virtual events is that they're like, oh my gosh, I can actually include other locations, where before it was never a consideration. We never even thought outside of the box, except for go to restaurant, sit in chair, drink, eat, have fun, dance. And it's like, hey, if you want to come up from LA because the home office is here in Santa Rosa, hey, that's great. But now, for years to come, places that have multiple locations, they're going to be able to incorporate the virtual aspect now on a regular basis. So being able to figure out what works, what doesn't, so you can kind of, improve each year, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, every single event you do, and you may decide that you want to do some other events that maybe aren't a holiday event, but some other events that are engaging for your staff or some of your customers, or educating and things like that. Now, and you've done this, you kind of know what to expect, and you know where some of the pitfalls might be. Now, as far as the following up, you mentioned the send out cards for the invitations. Highly recommend sending a little thank you card out to your vendors and anybody that you worked with. Granted, you paid them in dollars as a thank you, but ideally.
I'm just saying, ideally.
But everybody likes to get that thank you card, and it really does help to show you're professional about what you do, and that they'll look forward to working with you again. To say, hey, really appreciate your help with this. So I highly recommend sending out gratitude at all times. Anytime you can do gratitude, you're going to be happier.
Yeah. Especially this time of the millennia, the decade, the year, the time in our lives, however you want to phrase it. Definitely is going to go much farther these days. So, okay. So quick recap, if you will.
Yep. You want me to recap?
I always love recaps.
Real quick. Okay. You want me to do step by step? We'll do step by step. Set the goal or intention for your event. Determine which elements are most important for you to include. Determine the duration and time of your event. Plan. Secure those vendors and entertainers. Work closely with your production company and test. Make sure everything works. Secure the location for Secure the location for the filming or your streaming. Invite your guests and be creative. Follow your deadline schedule. And finally, throw an amazing virtual party. That is your recap.
There's your recap. Wonderful. And we will also link this. It's a PDF. We got it, 95%. There's some things we want to do. So, but I think let's put it out there now.
Let's put it out there.
We can always edit.
If there's a typo, you can let us know, and maybe we'll give you a prize for finding it. I don't know.
Sounds good. All right. With that, anything else that you would like to include in today's show?
No, I just want to make sure y'all come back next week. Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific time. We are here. And if there's anything that you'd like us to cover or information that you need about live streaming events, virtual event production, let us know. And we'd love to talk about it on our next show.
All right. Sounds good. With that, I'm going to fade out with some music.
Woo!